Hey guys, Mishi Mavros here, and today I wanted to talk about people that have borderline personality disorder and our struggles with maintaining work, maintaining full-time employment, part-time employment, maintaining going to school, all of that, and why it is so difficult for us. Because from looking at it as an outsider, as someone that's neurotypical, someone that may not understand why we, struggle and why we have such problems with doing things that most people deem to be, normal or just a part of everyday life. For us, it can be super, super difficult and very, very, all consuming and just really it takes a lot out of us to be able to function sometimes the way society, says that we should, by holding out a job and by, committing daily acts that are what we're supposed to be doing, and why we sometimes, shift from job to job, why we are oftentimes unemployed, and why it is so it's really hard. And I feel like a lot of people don't understand that, which I guess makes sense because, if you've not lived the same kind of life as someone else, it is very difficult to kind of be able to relate to them. So a lot of us do kind of jump from job to job, and a lot of us are unemployed, either temporarily, permanently. A lot of us may be seeking assistance from the government, and that is because, functioning as a normal person obviously is hard. Hence why we need to, either be treated via medication or therapy, sometimes a mixture of both. And our depression and our anxiety and our interpersonal relationship skills are obviously, something that deters us from being able to function in an environment such as going to work. Unless you are working from home, it can be a struggle. So with depression, oftentimes we have either trouble sleeping, which means you have either insomnia or you may be sleeping too much and just always feeling exhausted. Now, when you have a job, you have to be able to perform, you have to be able to do your certain duties as outlined. And that can be very, very difficult. That can be so hard when you are sleep deprived or when, you're just so exhausted. It doesn't matter how much sleep you may get. Sometimes it just never seems like it's enough. You have, your mind's cloudy. You can't really, think properly. If your job is very physical, sometimes if you're just too exhausted, how are you going to be able to function? So insomnia is a big, big part of depression, because sometimes our thoughts just won't stop going. Just things eating away at us at night. Sometimes medications that we're on either make it impossible for us to sleep or it makes us just so that we just want to sleep all the time. That's all we want to do. And anxiety. So anxiety means like you have such an extreme, you can't think about anything else. Your heart is racing at a mile a minute. You're heavy breathing. You can't think about anything else other than what is giving you such intense anxiety. And that can make it very hard to leave the house. So depression and anxiety coupled together can make it so, so difficult to be able to talk to other people, be able to leave your own house, even to go to doctor's appointments to try and better yourself is so hard. So obviously doing, going out and doing other things, doing your job, having interpersonal relationships can be very hard. Now, along with having BPD, we do have an even harder time relating to people. So we do have those mood swings and we do have that love-hate, black and white thinking. And we could be good friends with coworkers, or we could be so afraid to connect with coworkers because we just know from our past experiences that a lot of times it has ended badly with people. So it makes it very hard to kind of open up. And, sometimes people could be thinking like, what's wrong with that person? Like something seems off. But then again, you can't really share. And that's a problem with society again, is that it's hard to share mental health, and it's hard to share the fact that, hey, I have a mental illness, so yes, it may seem like I'm different, because I am, I'm going through a lot right now. And I'm finding it hard to connect, You can't really say that. Unfortunately, I hope one day that we'll be able to share freely with people that we know, and in a work setting. But unfortunately, a lot of times, if you do end up sharing that information, I've known from experience sometimes. One time I shared with my boss that I was going through a lot of anxiety and depression. I didn't share my diagnosis of BPD because I knew that would kind of scare them away. But I just told them, look, I'm sorry, but I need a mental health day. I didn't want to lie, and I didn't want to say well, I'm sick. So I just told them honestly, look, I'm so sorry, but I can't leave my house right now because of this and this. And I lost my job because of it. They just said, I'm sorry, it's not working out. They didn't really give an explanation why, because I know that's technically illegal. You can't really fire someone for their mental illness, but you can kind of say it's due to something else. And, it can still result in losing your job. So that's why it's so hard for us sometimes to keep a job. And that just causes us to be more depressed, if we have bills weighing on us, or, if we have children we have to support, worrying about paying for rent and paying for food and all these other things. It becomes very overwhelming. Depression, anxiety, and the BPD just get worse and worse. And it's like a cycle that just keeps continuing. And it is hard for us to relate to other people. It's hard for them to relate to us. So, you may form a friendship with a coworker, and again, it might fall through. And then I've had it so where I've tried to be friends with coworkers, and then obviously other situations outside of work happen, and then when you go back into the work environment, it becomes very toxic, and it just freaks us out even more, and we end up quitting. Or sometimes people can try and get us fired if they don't like us, or we do something ourselves that make it so that we are fired. Sometimes, if you're in customer service and a customer is so awful to you, you might go all PPD and snap at them. I've never really snapped at a coworker or a customer, sorry. But that's obviously something that can happen, with experiencing that BPD rage. So there's so many different ways and different factors that play into why it is so hard for us. Sometimes we may have a problem with being late. Time management is also difficult. Just dealing with so much, and then also, needing to function like a normal human being is hard. So, for example, I've started to work full time to kind of pay off student debts and hopefully, find another place to live and just kind of start being an adult. And it's hard. It is really hard. Trying to maintain everything, trying to maintain this channel, trying to maintain, friendships and relationships, and also doing a good job at my work. It is overwhelming, and I do experience a lot of anxiety sometimes. I'm worried that I'm not going to be doing well. And also I need to work, but I don't want to work because the work that I actually want to do is to act. But that's obviously difficult. It doesn't necessarily pay the bills until you're really established. So it is depressing sometimes, feeling like you're not where you want to be. And I do understand a lot of you guys probably experience the same kind of thing. So that's just a little bit about having borderline personality disorder and trying to maintain full-time, part-time work, even going to school. It's all the same kind of thing. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you're having a great day, a great week, and I'll see you guys next time.